Hey, and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. It's September 6th. We are going through Proverbs 6, finding ourselves reading out of the New Living Translation today. And I want to highlight and look over a few main topics. Proverbs 6, verse 1 and onward reads, "My child, if you have put up security for a friend's debt or agreed to guarantee the debt of a stranger, if you have trapped yourself by your agreement and are caught by what you said, follow my advice and save yourself, for you have placed yourself at your friend's mercy. Swallow your pride. Go and beg to have your name erased. Don't put it off. Do it now. Do not rest until you do so. Save yourself like a gazelle escaping from a hunter, like a bird fleeing from a net." And what we find Solomon saying here is that we need to step up to the promises that we've made, and we need to clear ourselves from those promises or from those debts. He is specifically speaking about the assurances that we give to others, which then put us in debt or put us in a position where we need to cover over the mistakes of others rather than allowing them to have an opportunity to learn and grow from the mistakes that have been made. So what we see here is that Solomon says, look, if someone has gone into debt, if someone has needs this help, do not go and enable them by covering that for them, because you've placed yourself in harm's way. If you've put yourself in a trap, you've been caught by what you have said and what you've agreed to. And then he says something really interesting. He says to clear your name, you first have to swallow your pride. And what we find is that we hold on to this pride of, I can do this, I can be whatever that needs to be. But he's saying, no, just swallow your pride and get yourself out of that debt, out of that security. Step up to the things you were in debt to. A promise made is a debt unpaid. And the words of our mouth hold very high in regards to how God speaks. In fact, we see in scripture that God says he speaks no idle word. And all of his words, the promises that he speaks, he brings into fruition. And God actually asks us to be very careful with the words we use, the promises we make, and the agreements we set. Because when we set those agreements and we make those promises, it's now our responsibility to uphold them. And we can put ourselves in really tricky positions needing to uphold them. Sometimes we find them to be maybe less consequential. Someone says, hey, I want to hang out. You say yes without thinking about it. And now all of a sudden you realize you have 5 nights this week where you're seeing people and your family just wants some family time. And you've made a promise to people, which is causing you to tell your family, I can't be with you every night this week because I made promises to other people. How do we go back on our word on that? And Solomon says, swallow your pride. Pick up the phone. Hey, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, I actually can't hang out this week. Here's some other available dates that I can hang out, but I need some time with my family. Or let's go with a bigger consequence. Someone goes, hey, I need someone to financially back me. I got in trouble and I need some help. Can I put your name down as a co-signer on this loan? And you're like, sure, you're gonna pay the loan? They're like, absolutely. And then 6 months go by and you get a call. Hey, this is the collection agency. The loan hasn't been paid and your name's on it. So you now owe X number of dollars. And you go, whoa, where's my friend who was supposed to pay this? I was just helping them out. Solomon says, do not do this. This is foolish. Do not put up this security. Do not set yourself into these agreements where you are now in a place of being trapped. Do not put it off. Go and step up to your debt. Step up to the promises you made and figure it out on how to get out of those things. So this is the first thing that he says. Step up to your debt and be very careful with the agreements and the securities you set. Moving into verse 6, it says, now take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor to rule, or to make them work. They labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you, lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little more folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack like an armed robber. This speaks of both a forward vision, a purpose, and a motivation that we are to possess as individuals. He speaks about the ants in a way of they have no ruler. There's no overseer that's ensuring the work is getting done. There's no overseer making sure that they have the food. They just innately function in this way that they know if they don't collect the food they need, they will not last the winter. For many of us, we have common amenities that cause us to neglect to think about the changing of seasons. A number of years ago, 50, 100 years ago, go back as far as you want, when common amenities didn't exist in as significantly as they do now, a person always needed to be thinking about the seasons that were coming up. We didn't live in the present moment. We lived in the present moment, but we lived with future intention. And what I mean by that is this. Think back to your days of reading Little House on the Prairie, if you were honored enough to read some of those books. And you think about the way that the family had to work together. And during the spring, they were planting, but then partway through the spring, they were already chopping wood and collecting firewood to stay warm for the winter. And by the end of summer, as they're planning on harvesting, they're also cleaning up the yard to get ready for winter. And as they're in winter, they're storing food. And as they enter into winter, they're preparing their seeds inside so that when the planting season starts, they can start. And so they were always kind of thinking ahead. And now, due to some common amenities like natural gas, we don't need to think about heating our houses. How are we going to heat our house next month? Same way I always do. I pay the gas bill. How are we going to collect food next month? Same way I always do. I go to the grocery store. We've lost some of that opportunity to be forward thinking. And so, especially today, we need to be even more so intentional about the vision, the mission, the purpose, and the work that is coming for the things that are coming next. We don't want to become lazy and sit back and be surprised. Because I'll tell you this, friend, surprises are always going to come, both opportunity and disaster. The only difference is are you prepared? Because if you're not, you're experiencing disaster. And if you're prepared, you'll experience opportunity. These things will come and knock at your door. Poverty will come, scarcity will come, opportunity will come. And if you're not prepared, you're going to be sorry for it. And so what we see here is that Solomon reminds us, be prepared, be wise in the way that you work, the way that you walk, and the way that you prepare. How many of us, specifically in BC, on October 31st go, oh shoot, it's winter tire season. And we call every single tire company in town, and we realize there's a wait list because people have been preparing for winter tire season for 2 months. And we're now driving in through November into early December waiting for our winter tires to be put on. And now it's dangerous. And now we have insurance issues. And now we are putting our family at risk and other families at risk. And Solomon says, you lazy sluggard, learn to be prepared for the things that are coming. Think ahead. Look at a calendar and go, hey, what's coming up in life that I need to prepare for? And then actively prepare for that. Hey, why are you chopping your wood in June? Because I don't want to have to do it in the last minute in October. Why are you setting money aside when you could go out and party? Because I know I have to buy winter tires and I don't want to go into debt for my winter tires. Hey, why are you doing this? Because I see what's coming in the future and I'm preparing for it so that poverty and scarcity don't attack me like an armed robber. We want to be a prepared people. And so I want to encourage you with these two things today. That we want to be people who step up to our debt, are careful with the agreements we set, and that we are intentional in the mission and vision of what is coming, and we are working diligently today to be able to prepare for what we know is coming. We don't need to be surprised that winter is coming. We don't need to be surprised that spring comes after winter. I'm not surprised when the sun sets in the evening. I'm not surprised when the sun rises in the morning. These are things that we can find patterns in. And if we begin to allow them to not dictate, but give us purpose through each season, we will find that we are in a much safer place mentally, stress-wise, physically, and all of the above by being prepared. So I'll leave that with you today. Hope you extract some wisdom. Go read the rest of Proverbs 6. Solomon has some hard-hitting truths throughout the rest of Proverbs 6 as well. But we will see you next week. God bless.